Welcome to the first tutorial on Vector Studios. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to design a business card. So I'll be using Adobe Illustrator for this. This is the business card that we want to create. So I'll go ahead and create a new file. I'll set the width and the height. I'll be first creating the back part of the business card. So let me start with the right side of the business card first. I'm I'm not gonna give any stroke or border for this. So I'm gonna just remove it. I'm gonna add the background color. I'm using hex code 282828. So as you can notice here, I've given few strokes. So I'll try to make the same thing here. I have used white there, so I'll use the same. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take this and I'll rotate it in such a way that it gives me a crisp frost appearance. So in order to make this less visible, I'll reduce the opacity to, let's say, 20%. That looks fine. So let me remove all the extra strokes here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the same rectangle, I'm gonna copy it. So I'm gonna remove the background color. I'm gonna select all of them together and I'm gonna use control plus 7 or command plus 7, which is a clipping mask tool. Now I'm gonna create uh, the display picture. I'm gonna set the background as to white. I'm gonna reduce this a little bit. Okay, that seems fine. So now I'm gonna bring the image. I'm using the image that I took from Google Images. I'm gonna take another circle without any background. I'm gonna use the clipping mask tool. Actually, no, I should leave behind the white one. Yeah, that looks fine. Yes. So I'm gonna align them together so that they are at the center. Let me align all of them. Yes, they are at the center. Now I'm gonna use. Now I'm gonna put the header for the name. I'm gonna use Proxima Nova font. I'm gonna be using bold to give hierarchy. Uh, yes, that seems fine. I'm gonna use white here because white looks relatively good on this. And then I'm gonna create the designation product designer, but I'll use a much smaller font. This is too small. I think this seems fine. But I'm gonna change the uh, font to semi bold to give hierarchy again, and I'm gonna change the color to pure white. Um, this still looks too highlighted. I think regular would do, and font seems fine now. Now I'm gonna align all of them together. This seems fine. Now I'm gonna create the left hand side of the business card. So I'm gonna create it in a separate layer. This was much relatively easy, but I believe in using layers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create my first element. I've used orange color here, so I'm gonna pick the same color. You can see the hex code. I'm gonna copy it, and I'm gonna use the same one. Yeah. Okay, let me just remove the border radius. Let me align all the four squares in such a way that they are equally distanced. Yeah, that looks perfect. Let me just check for the alignment. It seems fine. Um, Now I'm gonna add the um, icons. I've already created these icons and I'm gonna simply add them over here. You can either create your own icons or you can take from one of the free websites where you do have to credit the author. So make sure you credit the author if you ever use it. Next, I'm gonna add the email. Let me just align them together. Let me zoom in so that it's much easier for you to see. Okay. Um, Let me bring my third element, which is the location, and that seems fine. But let me check with the alignment tool. So make sure you check with the alignment tool because that is very important. That everything in your design is aligned, or else it will look very cluttered, and you wouldn't want that on your design. Okay, that just seems fine. Um, there's a lot of white space here, and I don't want it. Plus, I feel my entire icons are not aligned to the artboard. So I'm gonna group them together. I'm gonna change to align to artboard. I'm gonna align them. Then I'm gonna create a small rectangle type something. So it is placed above as well as below. So I'm just gonna bring it down, and that just seems fine right now. I think I should reduce some white space over here in each one of the elements. So it's better if you group these elements, they work very well. So I am using all the shortcuts to group them. The shortcut for grouping is either Control plus G or Command plus G if you're a Mac user like me. Let me just take them off and group them and bring them to the center of the artboard. and that just seems fine right now. So next you can go ahead and start adding text. Um, I'm gonna just enter some random number. Since I'm in India, the country code is +91. To give a little more hierarchy, I'm gonna use semi-bold, and it looks much better. Um, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ungroup these, and I'm sorry, I don't know why that came. Sorry. I'm gonna ungroup these. I already did. And I'm gonna align the number and the icon. Sorry. Use align to section so that they align only with themselves. Next, I'm gonna use um, a hypothetical email address, john.doe at Vector Studios. I'm gonna bring and align them. So what you can see was it was already aligned with the number, so I didn't bother to align them again. This seems fine now. Let me put the location. I'm in Bangalore, so I'm gonna use Bangalore. Again, align them. So I'm gonna use a hypothetical email address, vectorstudios.in. I'm gonna align these again. So that's it. We are done with the back part of the business card. Now we can go ahead and create the front part, which is much more simpler. I'm gonna use the same width and height. I'm gonna create a rectangle for the entire artboard. I'm gonna remove the stroke. I'm gonna add the background color. So what I'm gonna do now is, instead of creating this again, the strokes part, I'm just gonna copy it. I'm gonna double click it. I'm gonna copy all of them using shift key. I don't need the black part. So I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna drag this. So what I find is I need few more strokes. So I'm just gonna copy it and I drag it over here. And that seems fine. So I'm gonna use the black part again as I did before. I'm gonna use clipping mask and I'm gonna clip all of them. What went wrong? Okay, seems fine to me. Okay, let me just remove the background and select all of them and use clipping mask, and we are done. So I'm just gonna place the logo over here. I can't find the logo. Okay, let's just use a simple rectangle as a logo. You can add your company logo name or whatever that you want to do. I'm gonna use Vector Studios again. I'm gonna set it to white. I'm gonna use Proxima Nova font again. I'll use bold. I think 125 should be fine. There's a typo. Yeah, 125 seems fine. I'm gonna align it to the artboard. I'm gonna bring it a little down. I'm gonna align the rectangle too. Yeah, this seems perfect. So we are done. We are done with the business card design, and this is how it looks at the end. We have reached the final point. Thank you. Thank you for watching.